For this next bit, we're going to do some peer coaching on a movement that we haven't done before. This is called a touchdown squat. It looks like other things that we've done before, various step downs, Peterson step ups, Patrick step ups, things like that. And it's a quite similar movement with a slightly different emphasis. I came across this. I've been working with a client one-on-one who has some hip issues, and I've been looking at how we can work on some lateral hip pain and hip weakness, especially when they go into adduction. And this is a movement I came across, and I realized it's probably a much better version of a lot of single leg work than people do. Generally, I find that pistol squats are inappropriate for most people, and it's actually not really a movement pattern that is going to be very useful for us, but these touchdown squats tend to be quite useful. So for this one, the name of the game is going to be adding range of motion over time. I don't really care about adding weight on this one. It's more about gaining control of your body. So with a touchdown squat, what you do is you find something. I found this nice rock here. Obviously, if you've got boards, sleepers are a really good option. I found a lot of used sleepers online that you can just go and pick up. A lot of people just want to get rid of them if they're not very new and smart anymore, so those are a really good option. Anyway, you don't need much height on this. In fact, it's challenging without any height, as I'll show you in a second. But for this one, we're going to go ahead and get on one leg. Now, the first thing you do on this one, and this is quite important, is I want you to hinge back until you feel that tension in your hamstrings, until you feel that tension in your glutes. So you've hinged over, getting tension there. You've got your leg out here, and all you're going to do is you're going to come down with control, tap, and come back up. Maintaining this position, tap, and come back up, tap, and come back up. And the cue you'll hear on this is imagine that there's just an eggshell down there and you're just barely just tapping it, probably with your heel. Other side, same thing. You come up, you find your hinge position. This hinge position is important because you really want to engage your posterior chain. It's also going to prevent you from bending your knees too much when you're doing this. There's a bit of knee work on here, and that's inevitable. You are going to get some knees, but you also really want to make sure that your hips are engaged while you're doing this. Your posterior chain is engaged. So what we're trying to do on these is we're just trying to do sets of about 10, 12, maybe 15 repetitions, and we want to see how high people can go while still maintaining control. And like I said, this can be perfectly challenging without any height at all. So if I come down here and I hinge back, I get that engagement, and I come down like that. I mean, that is still a perfectly tough movement. But as you add height, what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to go lower and lower and lower and engage more muscles. So we're going to do some touchdown squats, working on 2 or 3 sets of trying to get up to 10, 12 reps, let's say 12 reps on those. Now, with those, you can do dowel assisted. That's one of the things I want to talk about today, is I have a whole series of movements that if you're working with older clients or detrained clients, you have the option of using the dowels, okay? And the dowel can just be here to kind of help you in case you're afraid of falling. It can also help push you back up again. Ultimately, you don't want to be using the dowels too much, but it can just be a nice little tool that'll give people a bit more confidence or help them if they get stuck in a position.